Motivation is the reason you keep failing. Not because you don't have it. No, because you rely on it. You use it too much. Your motivation becomes a crutch, and it inhibits you from gaining real consistency. You see, motivation comes in waves. You can get really motivated and do some really good things, but eventually you'll drop. You'll falter. And the worst part is, when you're in a good spot in life, sometimes you know it's going to happen. You know that eventually you'll turn back to your ways. Every time you have a bit of contentment, you know that there's a shelf life on it. The reason is because people that are incredibly motivated tend to live in extremes. Either they're incredibly motivated or they have absolutely zero motivation. They don't have an in-between. This entire time, I've been talking in the third person. Just replace that with the first person because all the things I just said apply to me too. I feel like there's a problem with motivation, sure, but motivation is strong and fast. It's short term. In the long run, consistency will always trump motivation. And that is a problem that I have. I don't have consistency. I'll take long hiatuses on something, or I'll just stop doing it altogether. I'm not a very consistent person. I'm very motivated. I can make things my entire personality. I can study them. I can get pretty decent at them. But sticking to them long term, having long term goals, that's hard for me. And that's hard for many people. I didn't make this video just to complain. No, this is something I'm actively working on and improving on. But the reason I brought this up is because it's a very common theme. I feel as things get easier for us, working hard for something becomes more difficult. We have a wealth of knowledge, and yet we still find it hard to get up in the morning sometimes. I mean, we are a species that hunted for our food, killed so many, conquered the world, yet I can't do my homework? Our lives would be completely different if we simply stuck to the things we said we would do. Small, active changes to your life are so much better than uprooting your entire life to fix it in a day. This is surprising to me because sometimes I just get tired of the state of things, and I think I'll devote one day to it all. I'll be able to set my entire life straight in a single day. And this mindset has held me back a lot. Quick side note, this isn't a self-help video, but I do think it helps if you heed my advice. If you feel incredibly motivated to do a lot of stuff, that's very good, and I'm very happy for you. But will you have that same motivation tomorrow? Then the day after, the week after, the month after, the year after, years? You'll need to completely change your mindset permanently before you can change your life permanently. And that is something that cannot happen in a day. Motivation alone won't bring you success. Now, I do think motivation is incredibly useful. Obviously, motivation is not all bad. Motivation is a tool, and we can use tools to get things done quickly and efficiently. But this tool isn't meant to be used long term. We can't expect to be motivated every single day. I'm going to use an example of an addict here, but you know how some addicts decide that they're done with the drugs? They left cold turkey. They say they just cut it off. Few days, few weeks, months later, maybe, they come back. or that overweight person that got sick of their living condition. And almost like magic, after a few months, the weight is just falling off. But when we pull that back, we see something. We cannot handle extreme change for a long time. When our brains are still stuck in that mode, we won't change. Mentally, you're still an addict. Your mindset must change before anything else. Sometimes I feel like I'm reinventing the wheel with these videos. And to an extent, I am. Everybody knows they should be consistent. Everybody knows they shouldn't thrust themselves into something extreme. But not everybody knows where that comes from. The person that was fat, where did that motivation come from? Perhaps it was being bullied. Perhaps it was something that festered inside of them. The hate built up. Or the person that was on drugs. Perhaps they realized how unhealthy this was, both mentally and physically. Perhaps they wanted to do it for other people, their family. But for how long? How long can we use that short-term energy that was meant to be burned quickly? It's not sustainable, because when self-loathing and indifference consumes us, we lose our motivation. We seek to gain it again then. Don't worry, I'm gonna lock in this summer. This is my winter arc. It's hot girl summer, all those things. What if none of it mattered? What if you decided to clean your room? What if you decided to take care of your health today? What if you decided to go for a walk? Read a page of a book. Do something so minuscule that you could do it for the rest of your life. And now what if you added one thing to that list every single day until eventually you're unrecognizable? The emphasis on how much you will grow will be gradual but profound. And eventually, you won't be able to recognize yourself. By the way, aside from this, I'm not telling you to beat yourself up. I'm not telling you that there is no point. In fact, the contrary. I'm telling you these things because I'm telling them to myself. These videos, when boiled down to it, were just an excuse to talk about something on my mind briefly while showing you something I was working on. But what if I did that once a week? Who knows what could happen? Well, to cut the long story short, motivation is fleeting, at least the type that we use it in. People work their butts off just to come back down to where they were because motivation feels good. It feels good to be on top of your game. It feels good to self-improve. It feels too good. Too good that you think you can relax a little. Too good that you think you've finished. In a sense, we slowly start to cool off, and that heat dies down, and you're right back to where you were. I don't need to, keep rehashing the same thing over and over again. Be consistent in the things you want and enjoy, and most importantly, find a good reason, a damn good reason to be consistent in that thing. I refuse to believe people are born with consistency. And I say consistency, but that's not really what I mean. What I'm talking about is discipline, self-discipline. Do you honor and respect yourself enough to continue? Are you disciplined enough to continue even when the chips are down, even when no one is watching, even when you're just doing this for yourself? Who are you doing this for? those are the moments that shape you into the person that you want to be. And to that point, I think there are two types of motivations. Good and bad motivations, for the lack of a better term. The bad motivation is the kind you try to use for the rest of your life. The self-hatred, the motivation you see a lot in black pill spaces actually. That's a topic for another day. And there's good motivation, the kind you use to get up in the morning today. Good motivation is what you use to fight for a loved one. You know, what you use to save a life. Consistency can never help you do something that extreme. I think it's important that we know how to utilize both types. Either way, I want to wrap this up, so let me tell you a story I feel relates to the topic. There was this man who was a chronic smoker. He went to the doctor's office and he wanted to quit smoking. The doctor said, "You know smoking is bad for you, right? You're on the verge of getting cancer, your lungs are irreparably damaged, and your overall quality of life will go down." The man nodded and said, "Yes, doc. What can I do to start to quit?" Well, the doctor smiled, gave him some Nicorette and a notebook to jot down his days, and he told him to come back in a few months to see how things were going. Next time he comes back, he tells the doctor that he is still smoking. The doctor is sad, but he tries to reason with him again. The man feels motivated, and this time he tries really hard. But as he's working on quitting, his son gets diagnosed with leukemia. This is heartbreaking to him, and he is incredibly distraught. But something happens. That sadness he used as fuel, as motivation. He wanted to see his son. He wanted to be by his side in a healthy state and attend to him. And he used that to quit smoking for good. You see, in this story, the doctor did nothing wrong, logically. But tangibly, it wasn't going to work. Sometimes what stops a person from texting and driving is a car crash. Sometimes we need some motivation. Whether it's good or bad, that's what we do with it that matters. I hope I do with mine what I think is best. I think that'll be it for the video. Thank you for watching. Join the Discord server. It's in my channel link and also in the description of this video. Also follow the Instagram, subscribe, like. My last video got a lot of views. Thank you so much. It hasn't really clicked to me. You know, even though it's just views, I still feel the need to thank you. And I'm going to continue to try to be consistent. Stay motivated, guys, and I love you. Say it back.